So I wanted to come on and just chat today about something that is on my heart, because while we're in the middle of such emotional, heartbreaking, like just really thought-provoking issues that are going on right now in the news, okay? So it seems like we're taking a pause from the virus for a second, taking a pause and going over here to what's going on in the news with the racial crimes, injustices that are happening between the Central Park person who called the police on a black man who asked her to put a leash on her dog, and for the devastating killing of George Floyd in Minnesota, who was just basically choked to death while he was pinned to the ground by an officer. So, and of course, it's at the point to me now where it's like when there were news stories about mass shootings or school shootings. Like, I feel like we're beyond the point of thoughts and prayers, and it's time to just fucking do something. And I'm listening. When I say do something, I am a white woman, so I realize that systemically I am part of the problem, all right? So I have so much to learn. I'm saying this, but I have so much to learn with complete awareness on that. In fact, I'm getting, hold on. See, this is how, see, books. How do you see us? This is a book about the realities of being a black person or a person of color and how they're seen, okay? There are other books, White Fragility. There are women of color who have incredible, in fact, I'm going to join one of them, memberships to learn about this issue of systemic racism that still is alive and well in America. I don't even know what to say, but what really gets me, my last post basically said, if I can't take this and explain white privilege, and I'm fully aware that I live in it too, so there's that. But if you can't see what it is from this example, I don't know how to help at this point. I don't know how to really communicate it any clearer, because whatever's happening now just needs to stop. It just has to. It's been going on for hundreds of years. This is not news, actually. Sadly, this has been going on for hundreds of years, and we just all sat by and just sat there and kind of watched it go on. Meanwhile, women of color have children, and they're afraid for their children every single day to leave the house, not knowing whether or not they're going to come back alive, because, God forbid, somebody gets it in their head that they're suspicious for some reason, just for being themselves. Oh my God, there's so many directions I want to go in right now, but what astounds me is the arguments and the debates that I get from white people about this whole thing. And the spiritual community, having a spiritual business, doing a Reiki master, doing energy healing, doing card reading, intuitive readings, intuitive coaching, I'm shocked when I see people in the spiritual community who are arguing about this, who are really debating that this doesn't exist, that racism doesn't exist, that white privilege doesn't exist. And in fact, as a spiritual teacher, I had one person say, as a spiritual teacher, I should be talking about one love, one consciousness, one people. And if I'm talking about white privilege, then I'm just furthering the divide. And that blew me away. That blew me the fuck away, because the fact is, it's not one love right now. It's not one consciousness. It's not one people. There isn't unity. That's the thing. That's not happening. That's not the reality for people of color. So for me to just sit there and say, oh yeah, this is sad, but one love and peace and love and light, and I don't want to get into this because it's going to lower my vibe, or this is one of my favorites. The people of color are manifesting this because they think it's true, and they talk about it and they speak about it and they get upset about it. They're just bringing more of it to them. Fuck. Like, I can't even with that. last I checked, if you're a light worker, if you consider yourself a light worker, the actual definition of a light worker is to illuminate darkness, is to bring awareness, illumination to darkness. Systemic racism is darkness in our world, in our culture right now. So for me to just ignore it, bypass it, or whitewash it and say that it doesn't exist, or that it's just a product of someone's manifestation, or that, or to whitewash it by like, well, white people, well, police are mean to white people too. Like it's like, oh, I cannot. And to just say the words like thoughts and prayers isn't enough. So I was told that as a spiritual teacher, I need to manifest one love. I should be speaking life into one love, speaking of love, speaking of unity. Get rid of the labels. We shouldn't be labeling each other black and white. I'm like, fucking what consciousness are you in right now? Because that's great for the 5D consciousness. That's great. Like in the 5D world where there are no labels, where there's no violence, where there's no racism, there's no prejudice, there's no nothing. Okay, it's just everybody, there's no gender, there's no sexuality, there's no sexual preference, there's no religion, none of that. It's all that's great. That's a great idea. And we can speak of it, we can speak about it, and we can teach it, we can talk about it, but that's not how it is right now. That is not the reality for people of color in this world. And right now we live in the 3D consciousness, so that means I need to get off my ass and take action. Just because I'm a light worker doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion, that I can't take a stand, or that I have to make nice and speak nice about it and make sure that I'm not pissing anybody off and that I'm just, appeasing the white folk. Like I don't have to do that, right? And I'm not even gonna stand here and pretend like I'm gonna teach anyone about how to fix this. I have no idea. I am looking to the women of color to help me and explain this to me. That's why I'm getting the books and I'm gonna join the memberships, because I am not, I don't know this. I don't live in that space. They need to teach us. The women of color and people of color need to teach us this. And I need to listen, because I have been programmed very deeply to live in a white supremacist world. And if you think that white supremacy means you're a skinhead or any of those extremes you see on TV, you're mistaken. It's very subtle and it's very deep. And just what you see on the news is just a piece of it. Do we have to address police brutality? Yes, we do. But that's one piece of this whole thing. The issue is so much deeper. And it breaks my heart when my white friends just can't even see it. Like they're so defensive, so stuck on the way they grew up or the way, like their own like traditions and values, and so afraid of the change or breaking that bubble that they would actually just, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It's almost like gaslighting, that they're gaslighting people of color and gaslighting people like me who are trying to learn more and trying to understand and trying to come at me and say, that's not spiritual. Spiritual teacher, it should be one love. It should be this, it should be that. It's like, yes, it should be, but it's not. So until my black brothers and sisters and my brown brothers and sisters and my Native American brothers and sisters are truly free, I am not free. That means I have to take a stand. I need to stand beside them and stop being comfortable in my world. Because I could walk through Central Park. And it wouldn't matter. But a black man cannot. A black man cannot. Or a routine traffic stop. I'm fine. I can get through it. The policeman may be rude to me. Maybe police are can be brutal, but I don't have to worry for my life. I can't. Like, I cannot help. And it's okay for fucking a bunch of angry white men to walk into the capital of Michigan, the state capital, the governor's office, with assault rifles, and be like, I want to stop wearing my mask, and I want to go to restaurants, and I'm going to do what I want. And literally said they were going to hang the governor. They were going to shoot the governor. They were going to chop her head off. And if the police tried to do anything, they were prepared to fight back. No police response there. None. 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 Not a thing. But when the Minnesota protesters came, there was tension. Tension started. Of course, the American media is gonna pitch it towards skew it against the black people and they were looting, they were rioting, they're gonna push your white buttons. They were doing it. Remember Rodney King? Like how wrong that they were looting and rioting and doing all this stuff. Of course, the media is gonna tell you that because it's whitewashed like everything else. That's the point. That's the point. These police officers showed up in full riot gear, shot them with rubber bullets, including the reporters that were trying to get the stories, and threw tear gas at them. They were not armed. They were not armed. I don't know. I can't. So I, as a spiritual teacher, or whatever you want to call me, I don't even know, okay? I am a student and a teacher, I'm whatever. I need to start saying stuff now and doing stuff. Calling the governor, calling the district attorney of Minneapolis, asking that they be tried for murder because that's what it was. It is recorded, and that was only one instance that was recorded. There have been many recorded where nothing happened. We've seen them in the news. There are many that happen without recordings. Can you imagine? So there's that. There's educating myself, because if I'm going to speak about this at all, I can't yet. I need to be educated. I need to find out more. I need to listen to my women of color. But I can say that I can't stand here and just do nothing and be afraid of, oh, is it going to hurt my business? Oh, is it not going to be spiritual? Oh, is it not going to be peace, love, and light? It's not peace, love, and light for people out there. It's not. And it's my job. If we're ever going to get to that consciousness, then systemic racism has to go. That's the point. I can't just think and speak 5D one love consciousness into reality. And if I just talk about it, it's going to happen. I have to take action to dismantle white supremacy and systemic racism in order for us to move into that next consciousness. And that's going to require 3D world action, not me sitting here and meditating on my pillow, not me saying a bunch of prayers, not praying to Archangel Michael to come and fix it. We are supposed to do something. We have to do something. So besides just saying the words, and I was right there with y'all. I used to just say the words. And I used to think that would be enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. And we have to take that risk of losing followers, losing friends, getting family members pissed off, and maybe losing customers and clients, and maybe not being as popular in some circles, not being liked, and that's okay. I'm not here to be everybody's cup of tea, but now I'm really not going to be everybody's cup of tea because I'm not going to tolerate that anymore in my space. Shit, there's no more room for it. So that's why I'm here today. I will not allow the spiritual community that I love so much and the work that we're doing that I love so frickin' much to be like tarnished by white people who think that they're just going to gloss over the issues and that we're just here to ignore and just whitewash the problems that are out there. No fucking way. No way. No more. No more. I can't have it. Can't have it. So I will start calling it out. I will start it, whether I'm in person or on social media. Not just going to be a keyboard warrior either. I will probably lose people in my life. And that's okay. I may lose people out of my community, and I adore my community. I adore all my clients. I adore them, but I really want. But that's okay, because if we don't see eye to eye on this, I can be one love. I can love you. I can love you anyway. That's one love. But I will not accept. I don't even know how to even say it. I will love you anyway, but I will have to remove my energy from that. I will have to remove my energy from that. My mission does not change. and I can't have any discussions. I can't have any further discussions. That's it. That's really it. That's all I can say about that. So Anna said, hi, Anna Webb. Oh my gosh, another beautiful spiritual teacher, one of mine. I'm so grateful. Cried today, just awful. I know. I can't. I'm so, real talk. My cup of tea refreshingly nice. Thank you, Juliet. It's so important. And I think the spiritual community needs to step up now. And we don't have to be quiet and silent and think that, oh no, if we protest or if we take a stand, that's being low vibe, or that's being negative, or that's putting harsh vibes or low vibes out into the world. We're going to manifest bad things, or we're going to be seen as, you know, not spiritual or not holy or whatever, or not connected. You're goddamn right I'm connected, because the source did not create us to be doing this. The source did not create us to be killing each other. The source did not create us to be disrespecting and treating other humans like they're not human, or like they're less than, or like they're not okay. So I am going to start taking more action. That is one love. And I also hear white people say, well, I hear black people are racist too. They assume that all white people are this and that, and they've called me names, and you know what? So what? You can, if people of color can call me names. You can tell me you hate me. You can tell me I'm racist. You can tell me I'm whatever. I understand. This pain comes from ancestors far back. You're speaking from, you know, a lineage of pain, suffering, torment, and for what? For what? For some white man's fucking convenience. Because So if you want to take that out on me, if you want to call me shit, please, it's okay. It's okay. I understand, and I'm going to love you anyway, and I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to sit there, and I understand. And I understand how angry you are, and you have every fucking right to be angry. Even if I personally didn't do it, or my ancestors didn't do it, it doesn't matter. We all took part in it in some way, shape, or form, and I'm here to take the heat too. And by the way, then, what can I do to help? And really do it, right? I don't know yet. I'm going to find these things out. I don't know yet. I think right now it's just starting to open conversations and acknowledge that it exists. First and foremost, acknowledge that it exists. Acknowledge the white privilege. Acknowledge the white supremacy that we've been raised with. Our history books in the United States, all white supremacy. One of the reasons why my kids are homeschooling now, because half of the history books are bullshit, written from a white man's perspective. And it's not entirely true, by the way. And we admire and we hold on a pedestal people that were slave owners, people that were killers. I can't do it anymore. Like, people think we're waking up to all these things with the COVID, and we're waking up to this government and celebrity and all this other bullshit. That may be true too. Then wake up to it all. Don't just cherry pick what the fuck you're gonna wake up to. Wake up to everything and realize that there is more than one thing that needs to be revealed and held to the light and seen for what it is, and then bye-bye, released, that the power needs to come back to the people. And we are no longer living under the oppression, not even we, I'm not even gonna say we, because it's not me. I'm not living under that same oppression as people of color, but it's not okay anymore. It's just not okay. It was never okay, but this is it now. This is it. We're being called to step up. So I hope that my spiritual friends will hear the call and not be afraid and think that you can't say anything or can't do anything because you're going to be seen as less spiritual, or going to be seen as less sweet, or going to be seen as less loving, or going to be seen as less connected to source, or that you're going against source. No, you're dividing. You're not uniting, you're dividing. That's gaslighting you. That's gaslighting you, my spiritual friends. It's whitewashing, gaslighting. There is a division, and by revealing the division, seeing it for what it is, and starting to break it down, then we can have unity. Not just because we're gonna stop using the labels and then it's gonna go away. I'm gonna stop labeling us and that's it. So that's not enough. That is not freaking enough. So it is absolutely spiritual to want to end this problem and bring people together. It is, but it's gonna take a lot of work. And the white people are going to have to do more listening than talking this time. We've done a lot of talking. It's time to be done. I'm even talking right now as says me who's talking, but you know what I'm saying. So I hope that, you know, any of you are out there who understand what I'm saying and kind of like either this video gets you to think a little bit and maybe do some research of your own for women of color who are out there educating through books and through their own programs and being willing to see your life differently and what you grew up believing and what your church told you and what your teachers told you and what the commercials, what the media told you. We live in a very white world. From, you know, we've talked about like Band-Aids, from the color of Band-Aids to like, you know, police brutality. Like there's so much to this. So if you're willing to see it all, and maybe even see people of color differently than you ever have before, even if you say, oh, but I'm not racist, but I love Black people, I'm gonna challenge you to stop that, and I'm gonna tell you to stop doing that and be willing to and just get yourself a book, or talk to a woman of color who is doing this work, pay her for this because she deserves to be paid for this work and her expertise, and be willing to come with an open mind and just listen. I'll tell you, when I started listening, I was like, holy shit, I never even thought. I mean, I grew up in a household where my mother wouldn't even let me say the N-word. Not that I wanted to, but she heard other people saying it or heard my friends saying it. She was and she wouldn't even have that. So I thought we were not racist, right? I thought like that was enough. That was enough. We're not racist. And she taught me to pretty much make friends with anyone, regardless of their outside appearance, whether it's color, whether it's gender, or what have you. And I'm grateful for that. But there was still so much privilege that I lived with that I didn't even know. And I had to be willing to listen. So I invite you to do the same. And for like I said, my spiritual friends, be willing to risk it all. How far are you willing to go to get to that 5D consciousness of all one love? How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to take a stand in the 3D, in a 3D fashion, more than just meditating and speaking love and light over the world? Are you willing to actually do things and take a stand and not be liked and risk your business, risk your friendships, risk your community in order to help our brothers and sisters of color who are asking for things to change? I'm not saying we're gonna swoop in and rescue them, okay, because that's another, like, the white person comes in and rescues, like in all the movies. Did you ever notice that? In the movies, they have the, like, you know, the Black people are in trouble and they're oppressed, and in comes a white person to save the day. So, yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying, is we're gonna come in and save the day. They lead, we follow, we listen, and we back them up. That's what I'm saying. That's where I am right now. So any questions, let me know. I'm gonna post the links to a couple of these books in the comments if any of you are interested in starting to read. And I just love you guys so much. Truly, we are one love. Truly, this is about love and unity, not division. But we have work to do to get there, and sometimes the work isn't pleasant, it isn't pretty, and it's uncomfortable, but we can do hard things. Even spiritual people can do hard things, and sometimes we're asked to. We're asked to come to battle. We're asked to be on the front lines and do things that are uncomfortable. But if we're gonna break down the barriers and get to that place, then we need to step up. So it's as simple as that. All right, I love you guys. Mwah! And I will see you on the next video. If you think anyone else, this might help anyone else, you know, please share this out if you think it might help. Just trying to do the best we can right now and do whatever we can, but I'm listening. I'm listening. So I thank you so much. And I thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.